All right, welcome everyone. Special shout out to Latoya. Latoya Williams in the chat. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, so this channel, because she asked, she says she's new here. This channel is about anything and everything that has to deal with whatever you have going on in your life. Maybe things that worry you, things that trouble you. I have a vast level of wisdom to offer solutions. And although it's especially geared toward relationship issues, because that's my goal, is to make sure that everybody finds their special soulmate. I know it sounds impossible, but not to me, because I live it every single day trying to help as many people as I can, on and offline. One step closer to finding the one that will ultimately make them happy now and forever. And then when they feel the power of love, they usually thank me and said, well, I never would have guessed. Of course, because I'm just some Joe Schmo, right? They always say, well, I just never would have guessed, thought maybe I'd just go with anybody. No, you should go with me for a lot of reasons. I don't have certifications to worry about, because they force you to say things, that you have to say, not things that you want to say. Because if you're licensed to help others, guess what? You have to play by their game. You're not allowed to say a lot of things if you're licensed. So licensed professionals are limited. You get my drift? Here it's absolute freedom to say anything and everything. So let us begin. I just want to start this new series of live streams titled Abuse. So this is episode 1, the silent treatment. Something that people consider normal, in marriages especially. And that's quite sad. It's sad because it's not okay to give your partner the silent treatment. This can last anywhere from hours, a whole day, 2 days, a week, even a month in some cases. They'll literally just escape the household and go live in a hotel, another apartment. This is an important topic here, and that's why I want to cover it, because little do people know that the holidays is the worst time for relationships. The best and the worst, because many people fall in love and many people fall out of love. Completely catastrophic because the economic part comes into the situation. You didn't buy me a gift. This isn't the gift I wanted. Yada yada for the materialistic community, right? I say community because they kind of rejoice in it as if they're a community. My husband didn't give me this. He gave me that. Can you believe that? I'm going to divorce him. Such humiliation. Lots of narcissism out there. Self-entitlement. Welcome, Northwoods Press. Happy New Year to you, buddy. So, somebody's got to talk about it. I don't see a lot of people talk about this one. This is like the sneaky one that people just tend to accept as part of their mediocrity. Their mediocre reality. And that's quite sad. So the silent treatment, how to survive being ignored in your relationship. It is not okay, as I said before. This is not okay. This is a huge red flag, a big red alarm. So let's get into it. Alright, the silent treatment is used by an abuser as a form of control, as a punishment, to invalidate, to test boundaries, to avoid responsibility for their behavior. Absolutely, how easy it is to just remain silent. You've heard it before, when the cops arrest somebody, you have the right to remain silent. Yeah, but when you exercise it yourself in a relationship, it's the complete opposite of what you should be doing, because communication is key and good times and bad times until you guys have no more bad times and only good times exist. That's the goal. It's not unrealistic, because if you don't reach that goal of no more arguments, because that means absolute maturity when you have no more arguments. If you don't reach that goal, you'll never become soulmates. It doesn't matter how long you two are together. You guys can pretend like you are, but you'll never feel that true power of love. And that's the problem. People think they know what love is just because they've been together 30 years. The time doesn't create the magic of love. You know, it's good that people are together for so long, but what did you guys accomplish? That's what I'm all about. You know, every single day should be jumping up and down with joy. All right, so we got here. North. Welcome, Mountain Girl. Welcome. Happy New Year. Yeah, Happy New Year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I try to help everybody with community posts. You know, not just my stuff. So if you need something done, just ask me. I'll give a shout out. All right, so yeah, the silent treatment. Let's say you guys get in an argument, and usually it's she. It's the wife who does it. It's the girlfriend. But it could be the he these days. Unfortunately. You know, now it's both, because men have become feminized, emasculated by the feminist extremist movement. Feminism's okay. I support feminism, but not the extremists. Because they no longer know what they want, so they want to control their partners. And I'm against that. And this is one form of control that they actually support. Just give him the silent treatment. He'll obey you. It's horrible. That's not a relationship. It's narcissistic behavior, as in a form of abuse, control, punishment, humiliation. So, let's take a little bit of a look here. It is the worst psychological aggression. Yeah, because people think silence is nothing, but actually silence is an option. You know, some people say silence is violence. No, it's just an agreement to do nothing about a certain situation when you're needed most. And in a relationship, this should not be an option. You need constant communication even in bad times in order to fix them. So, it is equivalent to murder, not physical but emotional. Absolutely. You know, if you really want to torment somebody, give them the silent treatment. It's not something good. It's true. We need constant communication. You know, we need constant affection. We need a purpose for existing. So being silent, I see it all the time. Silent comment section. Nobody wants to say anything about these streams or my videos. This isn't my first time on YouTube. I used to have previous YouTube channels trying to help people. And it's the same thing. They're just not ready to be helped. So this time I'm coming at it with everything I have. Trying to help people stop with the silence. You're only hurting yourself. You're killing yourself inside. You're making yourself weaker by not saying anything. You know, be opinionated. Speak up. Have a voice. To be silent in this life is to be a loser. You have much to lose. You're not going to enjoy life. You know, that's just the end of that. You know, period, right? It is the denial of the existence of the other person. Yeah, just pretend like they don't even exist. I mean, that's like treating a prisoner like they don't exist, right? They're already in prison. The next worst thing you can do is ignore them and don't give them the sandwich that they deserve every day, or a cup of water, or a bath. You know, the Stockholm Syndrome. I hope people are aware of Stockholm Syndrome, because some people are in relationships that have Stockholm Syndrome. It's horrible. They treat each other like prisoners, or one treats the other like a prisoner. It is the highest punishment you can inflict on the other person. Absolutely agree. And you know, some parents do this to their children. Even little babies, they just leave them in the crib crying. They don't even care what it is that they need. Maybe they need their diapers changed, or they need to be fed, or they're aggravated because they just want mommy to hold them. There's abuse happening every single day, and everybody just turns the cheek like, nah, well, whatever. Yeah, I've been through worse. It's horrible, the kind of world we live in, because nobody wants to talk about it. So let's see here. It's the cruelest way to treat someone. It is a sign of cowardice, absolutely, and bad character. Yeah, only immature, weak people do this, because you don't have to do anything in a silent treatment. You don't have to learn anything wise, sense of wisdom, compassion, love, nothing caring. You just, whatever. Who cares? I'm just going to go somewhere else, with my time. It is emotional abuse. It is manipulation. It is control over the other. Absolutely. It's just an evil personality. Selfish behavior. I won't beg. I like this one. Because this is what it comes down to. And we're going to go over something, the next part of this stream. It's going to be really hard hitting. I hope you stay tuned for that. So, I won't beg for your time and attention anymore. The more you ignore me, the more I will get used to being ignored. If you stop calling me, I will stop waiting for your calls. If you stop sending me text messages, I will get rid of my habit of checking my phone all day. The more you stay away from me, the more I will adapt to staying away from you. One day, I will learn to live without you and move on. Right, you gotta fight fire with fire. That's the truth. You're forced to fight fire with fire. You don't want to behave this way. But this slide right here, this image right here just says it all. There are families who go through this. There are relationships that are forced to go through this. To fight fire with fire. Estrangement is a huge one. If you take a look at my video, estrangement. It's not okay, but some people are forced to do it. Good people too. If your family treats you like garbage and they insist that you have to put up with it, you need to leave. That is abuse. The same thing in a relationship scenario. If your husband or wife or boyfriend, girlfriend insists that you need to listen to them and it is not 50-50, you need to leave. You need to save yourself. This is extremely important, yet people seem to want to put up with it. Sadly enough. Shout out to Westside Accountability. Welcome to the show. Because this stuff is too serious, but I understand. Hopefully they come back and watch the rest. It's all good. I'm not offended. Because people, they just want to watch the cat videos. Have fun with the cat videos. It's okay. Let's continue. So, absolutely, this is the most important slide, I believe, in the whole presentation. It's just absolutely sad how many people don't pay enough attention to this because people are tossed out of their homes. Imagine, when you get married, you both move in together, or you guys are engaged, fiancé, to become married, and you guys move in together. Now you guys just sacrifice 2 living spaces for one, and then if one tosses the other out, depending on whose place you choose, now you're homeless. You took a leap of faith, thinking that the one that you chose was going to always be there for you, or they end up cheating on you, or yada yada, they betray you. This happens. And this also happens. That's why they put up with such scenarios. So have some dignity. Don't abuse yourself by staying in an abusive relationship, because now you're abusing yourself by not doing anything about it. Learn to let go. You have to get out of such dangerous scenarios. All right, let's move on. Now, here is something that I disagree with. So, Anne says, many people confuse the silent treatment with no contact. The two are so very different. An abusive personality will initiate the silent treatment as a punishment, a means of showing their displeasure or disapproval. Their contempt for you is blatantly obvious. All right, that's what we just gone over. We just went over that. On the other hand, an injured party will initiate no contact in order to protect themselves and allow themselves time to recover. Not to punish or hurt anyone, the key is in the intent. Okay, understood. However, consider what I have to say about this. If you feel hurt and you run away, don't run away too long if you still care about the other person. Maybe you guys had a fight. If you stay away, that's not going to solve the problem. You need to come back. You need to address the situation. If the event was so painful and you truly feel that there's no way going back, that you can never forgive that situation, the occurrence that just happened, then yes, you need to break up. If it's just insalvageable, only you're going to know that, right? Can you live with what just happened? Because if it's a cheating situation, that's it. The relationship's done and over. I don't believe that somebody can come back together again and love each other to the point of becoming soulmates because one cheated on the other. No, that's the ultimate form of disgrace. You completely betrayed that person with trust, and you can't trust again. It's over. It'll never get better again. Things will never be the same again. That's how I feel about that. So this is kind of true, this statement, but it's also kind of false. Because you need to come back to your responsibilities and take care of them. Face fear head on, right? Face your fear. Solve it now. So it's not terribly wrong. It's just partially wrong to say, to be evasive, to, go somewhere and avoid the situation. You got to come back. You got some things to take care of. All right, so don't question yourself when someone gives you the silent treatment. The person giving the silent treatment has not matured enough to realize that problems are not solved through silence, but through communication. Absolutely. Communication. That's exactly what I was just talking about. You can't run away from your problems. So no contact means running away, even if it's just for a moment. Because maybe your partner's trying to solve a situation that you feel uncomfortable with, and you just choose to go no contact. So similar to the ghosting that happens today. The term ghosting, where you just disappear all of a sudden. That doesn't do anybody good. Have the honor, have the dignity to come back and resolve your situations. So lack of communication is extremely immature. You should never be afraid to confront your problems, no matter how bad they are. All right, let's move on here. A narcissist's silent treatment is psychological manipulation. They don't care for your feelings. They want to hurt you. It is emotional abuse. So they can have power and control over you. That's what it is. Psychological manipulation. So are you willing to put up with such a situation? I wouldn't. Even mothers and fathers can become narcissists. They get used to controlling their kids through abuse, physical abuse, mental or emotional. And then guess what happens to the kids? They learn how to abuse, they learn to be abused, and then they learn to abuse others. Copy what mom and dad did. The term, the hurt others. Hurt people hurt others. I'm sure you guys probably heard of that. All right, but that's narcissism, which is manipulative, controlling, power struggle. Let's go ahead and proceed to this part of the equation. So there is such thing as marriage abuse, withholding sex as a form of punishment. Yes. Unfortunately, there's a lot of immature, toxic women who do this. Now, don't get me wrong. It depends on the scenario. If the guy is demanding sex when she doesn't feel like it, well, then no means no. And that's the end of that. But let's say she's manipulative. She'll say, well, I'm not going to have sex with you until you buy me that new Mercedes. Right? So the guy goes to buy the Mercedes. Well, I'm not going to have sex with you again until you buy me that diamond ring. Welcome, David Finkel, special guest in the house. Honorary guest. David Finkel purchased 2 of my books. I can't wait for his book reviews. Well, his book review. Because him and his beautiful wife have participated in such an endeavor to test out my wisdom and to evaluate it in the end. Thank you so much, David. No, it's more than special. He's too humble. David is too humble. Welcome. Wow, this is the first one. Yeah, you got a lot of live streams to catch up on, buddy. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just teasing. He's been through. His fans won't leave him alone. He's trying to hibernate so he can come back stronger than ever. Big welcome to David. Let's see. So yeah, withholding sex. Let's get into that. It just depends on the scenario. All right, sexual withholding. Many people don't want to talk about sexual. It's just really sad. It really is. There's a lot of immature people out there, so they shy away from sexual topics. I welcome it. From rated X to rated G Disney. I really don't care. I care about all of it, actually. Leading a man on serves a purpose for women. See, this is manipulative. Helps choose higher quality mate. Allows women to be selective. Increases the value of sex. Increases value of a woman as prospective mate. Encourages man to think of. This is kind of written a little poorly. Think of her as a long-term perspective. Okay, I see what they're saying by withholding sex. Hey, be cautious, right? But let me just give my opinion really quickly before we finish this. What I believe is that there's nothing wrong with having sex on the first date. I don't see anything wrong with that. I mean, if you really believe it's your body, your choice, don't be afraid of that. Don't follow what other people say, because you might be missing the most beautiful night of your life. You met the perfect one. You just really feel it with all of your heart and soul. And then you're like, oh, but it's the first date, so no, I have to save maybe after marriage or maybe on the fifth date. Don't play games, guys. If you want to give him or her your body, go ahead. Because you're giving each other your guys' bodies anyways. It's mutual. So we got to get over this little, I don't know if it's like a traditional whatever. Maybe it comes from religion or whatnot. But this whole thing about not sleeping on the first date is garbage. That's your choice. Because it could be the most magical night of your life. And you missed it because you followed other people's advice. Or what you think you should do. You should know what you should do. Know thyself. Encourages man to think of her as a long-term perspective. Okay, what are the implications of this? Does our current language for those who do not sexually withhold have any possible relationship to our evolutionary predisposition? That's horrific. That last paragraph or that state. That's just ignore that. The implications. What are you talking about? Predispositions, evolutionary. Who cares? Look. Don't overcomplicate things, people. And this is what I can't stand about psychologists or therapists or family counselors. That's why I remain uncredited, right? Without the certifications, right? Uncertified. Because I can say and do whatever it is that I feel like doing, right? And saying. And this right here is garbage. I can be the first one to tell you. It's your body, your choice. You do as whatever you want. You have to trust yourself. All right, let's move on. I just thought that was really interesting to toss in there. Let me check the chat right quick. Lady friend, night wife yet? Oh, okay. Awesome. Then there's... well, hey, David, this is I'm glad you bought the book. And I'm glad you got her a copy. Because if you guys follow it to a T, I'm pretty sure you guys, if you have a strong enough attraction, will reach the highest level of soulmate status. Wow, okay, that makes things more interesting that you guys aren't married yet. That's very interesting. Thanks for sharing that. To thine own self be true. I guess I am on a Shakespeare kick. Yeah, Shakespeare, David. My favorite quote is, the world is a stage, and everybody are actors, right? I mean, that's summing it up pretty roughly, but it's true. Do not trust the news. Do not trust politicians. You think you're voting for... No. You're just playing the part of the circus with your vote. So a lot of people get upset about that, but if you research enough, you'll find out that it's true. But that's the thing. People don't know how to research, right? Hardcore research. Not just, whatever the news headline said. I guess that's true, right? Don't be gullible, people. The world is a stage. I don't trust even what scientists say, religious extremists say, historians, you name it. I don't trust any of these people. I wasn't there. So that's blind faith. That's another topic for another day. Let's go ahead and move on. Thanks, David, for bringing that up, though. All right. You got a funny story? Well, I wanted a stream dedicated just for you, David. So I can say special guest but yeah, if we can try to bring you up on the Google Meet, I can see if I can send you a link at the end of this to see if we can get you on, because I'm already pretty much done with this. Let's just nail a few more slides and see if we can get you on. All right, a narcissist likes to withhold affection, attention, and support to destroy your self-esteem. See, this is a different angle to it about the silent treatment. So only a narcissist would be capable of doing such a thing. And, it is torturing your partner. It's an ego trip. Destroy your self-esteem. Destroy your pride in the relationship. Make you feel inferior. All right, so abusive relationships are characterized by control, games, violence, jealousy, and withholding sex and emotional contact. See, this one just puts it all together. I love it. An emotionally abusive man, well, it should be woman also, is harder to pinpoint, and a skilled abusive man can, maybe this was written by a woman, easily make you think you aren't good enough or that everything is your fault. Actually, that was my mom. I grew up with a narcissistic mother. She was a sweetheart until I was about age 10. That's when things started going south. My entire teenage years. And everybody, my siblings as well. That's another story for another time. It is just as difficult to recover from emotional abuse as it is from physical abuse. Absolutely. I grew up with emotional abuse. I had to be my own father and my own mother. Because my father is pretty much just dead to me. I mean, he just doesn't have any sense of wisdom. He just does whatever my narcissistic mother ever told him, instructed him. That's his boss. It's one of those pushover relationships. Let's go ahead and move on. I think that's about it. Oh no, this is the biggest slide of them all. How could I forget? Power and control. This is the whole wheel of abuse here. If the shoe fits, be very careful. That's a warning sign. All right, so top left, using coercion. We'll move counterclockwise. Using coercion and threats. Making or carrying out threats to do something to hurt the person, threatening to leave them, commit suicide, report them to welfare, making them drop charges, making them do illegal things. Yeah, this is so common. Especially the commit, if you leave me, I'm going to commit suicide. That's like the desperate behavior right there. So coercion and threats. Using economic abuse. This is another huge one. When the husband usually gives the wife an allowance that's not fair at all, because he wants to spend the rest on gambling or prostitutes or whatever. This happens, people. Preventing her from, we'll just use her for the sake of whatever they have here. But it goes both ways, just know that. Preventing her from getting or keeping a job, making her ask for money, giving her an allowance, taking her money, not letting her know about or having access to family income. Yeah, this is like a one-way street. I'm in charge of the money. You don't have nothing to say, right? So using male privilege, see, this is specific to males. Treating her like a servant, making all the big decisions. Oh my goodness, this is so huge. Acting like the master of the castle, being the one to define men's and women's roles. Like, okay, the last one I can understand to a certain extent. Like, women, you can't do everything a man can do, but men, you can't do everything a woman can do in some cases. So let's just leave it at that. But controlling, by wanting her to, to be a servant, that's horrible. For example, that's all in our Hispanic culture. Me as a Hispanic, born in Spain. The Spanish culture. Usually the husband says, you will cook and clean for me and you will do this. It's horrible. And they just accept it. It's weakness, right? All right, so using children. This is a really ugly one. Making her feel guilty about the children. Using the children to relay messages. Using visitation to harass her. Threatening to take the children away. This is classic. I'm sure you guys are familiar with that. Very, very despicable. Because the children have nothing to do with it. Just leave them out of it. Oh my goodness. Minimizing, denying, and blaming. Making light of the abuse. Like making it like it's something funny. And not taking her concerns about it seriously. Saying the abuse didn't happen. So denial. Shifting responsibility for abusive behavior. Saying she caused it. Right. So you're making me abuse you, right? You guys heard that before. It's not just in Hollywood movies, it happens in real life. Using isolation, controlling what she does, who she sees. This is a really bad one. This is a very, oh my goodness. And talks to, what she reads, where she goes, limiting her outside involvement, using jealousy to justify actions. This is a very big form of abuse, and I hope none of you ever experienced that. This is all too common. I've seen it personally in people's lives, and I try to help them out as best as I can, but it is very dangerous. You're dealing with psychopaths, sociopaths, bipolar disorder people, just mental issues of all kinds. Using emotional abuse, putting her down, making her feel bad about herself, calling her names, making her think she's crazy, playing mind games, humiliating her, making her feel guilty. So there you go. Using intimidation, the last one, making her afraid by using looks, acts, gestures, smashing things. There you go. Domestic violence. Destroying her property, abusing pets, displaying weapons. Right. Like if you raised a fist, right? This stuff happens. And so yeah, how did we go from love to the silent treatment? It gets worse than that, not just the silent treatment, folks. So I'll tell you what, David, we're going to get you set up on another stream. I don't know if you want to do that now. Just let me know in the chat. But for now, I'm going to have to end this stream. It's been a good 30 minutes. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Well, you know what I mean by enjoy it. It's nothing to celebrate. But it's just, this one's a responsible series that I just want to go through. Abuse awareness, if you will. Because it's a new year. We don't want any form of abuse in our lives. Just say no and take action. Do not be evasive. Face your fears head on. Face your situations head on. And you should be good to go. So, till next stream. It might be later today depending on David. But hopefully we get David on for the next stream. So, Happy New Year, everybody, once again. And much love to each and every single one of you.